Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. It has been a while since I have sat down and today we have a very exciting wedding Q&A video. So I haven't sat down yet and talked about our wedding day, which was absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for watching our honeymoon vlogs and for all your lovely messages on our wedding, which was the 30th of November last year. It is now the beginning of February and we finally have all of our wedding photos back and our wedding video, which is just... It is so incredible, and I will be sharing the full video on this channel probably at the end of this month, but we just want to share with friends and family first. But there is a wedding teaser trailer up on this channel, as well as a decor video, like where we bought everything from and how we planned our wedding and everything like that. So go and check that video out. I will link it below. I've even lit my Jo Malone wedding candle and put some wedding pictures here and I'm sure you can check out my Instagram for lots more wedding photos because I have been going crazy. I also have a Pinterest which I will pop below as well, which I'm going to start putting a lot more photos on, so if you are having a winter wedding you can get some inspo from there. But for this video, which I think is going to be a rather long one, I put out a little question answer thing on Instagram and you guys asked so many questions, which was amazing, and I'm going to try and tackle some of them today. So let's get started. Okay, how far in advance did you book your venue? I've had my heart set on it for years. So our venue was amazing. I cannot recommend it enough. It is called Cripps Barn. It's in the Cotswolds. The brand or company Cripps & Co own a lot of various different venues across the UK, I think more so in the north actually. So yeah, I'd really recommend checking them out for like barn weddings. Very rustic, very beautiful. The staff were incredible. The food was amazing. Yeah, we cannot recommend Cripps Barn highly enough. And we booked it in, I want to say, August 2018 for our wedding, November 2019. So over a year in advance. I knew that I wanted that venue because I had seen it before and thought it was just amazing, and we knew we wanted a winter wedding. So yeah, we booked it over a year in advance. They get booked up even quicker for summer weddings. So if you've got your eye on it, you might be looking at 2 years in advance. So yeah, get on that. What was the best part of your wedding day? Anything you wish you did or didn't do? Okay, so I think my favourite part of our wedding day was when Sam and I did a private first dance while our guests were taking their seats for dinner. The duo that we had performing, Damson Sky Duo, the guitarist and singer, they played Tom Walker's Just You and I, and we had a really special moment in front of the fire dancing to it. That was just really special for us because I was getting really emotional because I was upset that we hadn't even heard them play. Because of the light going really quickly because it was winter, we had to rush off after the ceremony and do like all our photos quite quickly, and so during the reception we didn't really get to greet guests or like listen to them play, so I got really upset. But then they played us our own special song, so it was worth having them just for that moment. It was so special and so lovely. But yeah, I loved like the whole day. And anything you wish you did or didn't do? Honestly, no. Like, I'm happy with everything we did. You know, things do not go wrong, but like there are moments where, like, you know, I got really frustrated that I couldn't greet guests straight away and I was freezing and I got muddy and I'd not even like said hi to anyone, and we were having all these photos, but we knew that that would happen because we had a winter wedding, so there wasn't as much light and we didn't have as much time to take photos. But I honestly wouldn't wish anything any differently, no. The only thing I guess I wish I did was to take photos with friends. But again, lack of light, it being freezing, timings, you know, you just don't think about it in the moment either. But I would have loved to have had some professional photos of me and my friends. One thing you're glad you booked / had? Well, I'm glad we booked everything that we did, but I would have to say our photographers, the Wild Bride, were amazing. I love Emily and John so much. They were so incredible, and the same with our videographers, Ground Films. They were so calming on the day, on the morning. They were great to have around, and they did an absolutely incredible job, and we will look back on that video forever. So yeah, definitely good photographers and good videographer. How did you avoid drama when picking bridesmaids? Your day looked gorgeous. Thank you very much. I don't think there was any drama. I mean, I don't really know because I don't know what my friends really thought. Like, no one's ever said anything. I just went with my gut. I knew exactly who I wanted, and you know, I have amazing friends. There were a few people who was like, oh, it'd be really nice if they were, and like, oh, should I ask them? But I was like, no, I'm thinking about it too much. and I need to just go with my gut, keep it small, quality over quantity. So I don't really think there was any drama, but then I'm quite lucky in that my bridesmaid Millie is kind of like a separate friend, like she's not part of a group. And then Amy is part of my school group, but I don't know, we've just had such a close friendship for years now that it didn't really feel, you know, like I was picking one person and not the other. Whereas I know that a lot of people have like quite a tight-knit friendship group. There might be like, I don't know, 6 or 8 of you, and then it's hard to pick within that. But yeah, I hope there wasn't any drama. The next one is figuring out the seating plan seems like the worst. Any tips? I think at the time these things always seem really stressful, but they honestly just always work out absolutely fine. We had a spreadsheet of all our guest names, and then we like drew out the tables and just started to map out. I would say that the seating plan was fine in terms of like who sat next to each other and who was on each table. It was more about where to position the tables in relation to the top table, because obviously you're doing speeches and stuff, and the room is kind of an odd shape with big beams, 2 big beams as well. So it was more like, we can't have all of Sam's friends, for example, like sitting like really near the front and then mine near the back. So it was kind of trying to alternate tables and family tables and friendship tables so that, like, you know, not everyone was at the back or one side, or yeah, I would say that was most complicated. But just compromise, communicating about it with your partner, just loads and loads of drafts as well. And at the end of the day, just really don't worry about it, because if anyone kicks up a fuss, then they shouldn't be there anyway. They will always understand that it's been quite difficult to choose where people to sit. And it's not about having favourites or, you know, whatever. It's about like, compromising with your partner as well and where they want their friends to sit. But yeah, my tip would be, don't worry about it too much. Everyone will just be happy to be there, and it's not worth losing sleep over. How stressed did you feel planning it, and how did you deal with the stress and pressure? So I didn't actually feel that stressed planning it, but I was definitely under stress overall. Like, I had a pretty bad last year, I would say, in terms of my mental health and my coping mechanisms, and not feeling stressed about the wedding, but I know that the wedding must have been a trigger for feeling under pressure and basically not sleeping and just like all this stuff. So it's a really odd one, because it wasn't like every day I was tearing my hair out about wedding planning, because we're really organised. So we did everything quite far in advance. We booked everything we needed to book. There was no like last minute stresses. I mean, we did obviously do things in the final week lead up. There was still stuff to do, but you know, it wasn't like really last minute. So I would definitely say being organised and mapping out when you need to do things is key for not feeling overwhelmed. But I was stressed, but I didn't feel stressed about any one particular thing. Does that make sense? So how did I deal with the stress and pressure? I tried to turn it into excitement, because things can feel really overwhelming, but at the end of the day, you've got to just strip it back to basics, and it is just you and your favourite person getting married, and it's a celebration of you, and it really is such a happy, gorgeous day, no matter how much you do or don't stress. So I think the stressing is necessary, especially if you're a perfectionist like me, but dealing with it, just view it as, you know, it's always going to be amazing no matter what happens, even if things don't go exactly how you planned. I've already got 12 minutes of footage and my mouth is dry. Anything you would do differently if you had the day all over again? I feel like I've kind of answered this, so no, I do think there are things that didn't go perfectly. Like I said before, I honestly wouldn't change anything at all. I can't think of anything apart from the friends photo thing that I just said. How much did you drink alcohol-wise before the ceremony? Now this is a nice practical question. I had a glass of Prosecco, and I think at one point I may have taken a sip from the bottle. I think I probably only had like 1 glass. When my hair and makeup was fully done and we were in our robes, we were getting some pictures, we had a glass of bubbly, and then suddenly it was like, we're late, you need to get dressed and go. So it got quite like stressful. So I don't think I definitely, well, you're not allowed to be drunk for the ceremony anyway, but I didn't feel, you know, I didn't really feel tipsy. I think it was just so overwhelmed with emotion, with nerves, with excitement, happiness, that yeah, it was nice to have a nice drink to take the edge off, but you know, it wasn't like I had to keep downing drinks to get rid of the nerve. You're a bit drunk on excitement. How did you cope / any tips to sleep the night before and for the weeks leading up? anxiety already kicking in and I know I'm going to be a nervous wreck the night before. I would say that the night before was the least of my worries, so I'm probably not the best person to answer this because I had serious issues with my sleep last year for a good 6 months or more. Especially in the lead up to my hen party, which was October, and the wedding was end of November. I actually went to the doctors about it. It was anxiety in general, but mine manifests through focusing on sleep and getting so stressed about sleep that I don't sleep ever. Like it got to the point before my hen where I hadn't slept for 3 nights, like at all, and like your heart is like you're just an anxious mess and you feel like you're gonna have a breakdown. In fact, I felt like I had many. So I actually went on some prescription sleeping tablets, which I don't really recommend because you do get a bit obsessed with those as well, but they, for short-term fix, they did really help me. The night before the wedding, I think I did take one, but I didn't really get much sleep. I remember being kind of half awake, half asleep all night. And I mean, who sleeps well the night before their wedding? Like, some people don't struggle with sleep at all and sleep like a log, and so maybe they don't, but I would say 9 times out of 10 people do not sleep well the night before their wedding. My bridesmaids didn't sleep amazingly either. It's just one of those things. But honestly, like, I was so sleep deprived around that period of time, but I had the most incredible day anyway. I didn't feel tired at all. I never stopped dancing. I didn't have a meltdown on the day. Like, it was fine. So if I can do it, you can do it. The best thing you can do is not stress, which I know is impossible. The Calm app really helped me actually, doing meditations, not in bed and not to do with sleep. I tended to just do like general ones for happiness or anxiety, and in the lounge away from the bedroom, and just keeping the bed for sleeping. If you can't sleep and you're stressing in the weeks leading up, get out of bed, go into another room, read a book, watch something on TV, do a meditation app, just something to just calm yourself in general. There's no point tossing and turning and stressing in bed, and that is something I have learned the hard way. Whew, I think I spent like 5 minutes answering that question. Next, did you do a speech? Yes, I did do a speech. I loved my speech. I knew from the start that I wanted to do one, and yes, I was nervous about it, but actually it was probably one of the things, like, it never kept me up at night, you know, like that wasn't something I was outwardly stressing about. I absolutely loved it. I was definitely a little bit drunk by the time it got to my speech. I did mine first before dinner, which I would highly recommend. Very selfish because I wanted to properly relax and enjoy my food and drink after, and then enjoy everyone else's speeches. But I feel like as the bride, you get to kind of, you know, you get to make the rules. So I decided I was going to do mine when everyone took their seats, and then after that we ate, and then it kind of broke them up a bit as well, so there wasn't too many. And I absolutely loved it, honestly. Like, I had a microphone, like, everyone was there that I loved. It wasn't nearly as scary as I thought it would be. No one had heard my speech before. I only practiced it with myself, and it went down really, really well. Everyone loved it. So yeah, you will see some of my speech in our wedding video, and maybe I'll put up some other clips another time because we are getting sent them in full. But yeah, I would highly recommend, if you're thinking about it, just do it. I like had a piece of paper and was like obviously reading off it. You don't need to come and do this amazing performance by memory. That would be very nerve-wracking. It's just such a nice thing because you actually get to talk in depth about your husband, which you never, like, I mean, the best man talks about him a bit, but you know, it's just nice. It's a two-way partnership, so I think it's really nice that breaking a few traditions and that the bride is now like doing a speech and all that. Do it. What little things crop up closer to the day that I need to bear in mind? I get married in April. Woo, hopefully this video will go out before then, it should do. I guess the little things like letting your venue know the setup of everything. So with our venue, they did everything on the morning of the wedding, so we couldn't go like the day before and set up. Sam and some of my bridesmaids' boyfriends went and helped set up in the morning, which was amazing, but they have the staff to do it. So it's remembering to map out everything for their purposes. So obviously, like the table plan, you have to do a different one for them, and then just like a big document which basically tells them where you want everything to go, like decorations and everything. So that sort of stuff is easy to like forget to do, and you kind of have to do that in the last few weeks, as well as I would say like focusing on yourself, pampering yourself. So making sure you've booked all your appointments, like if you want to get your nails done, do your hair, tan, like whatever it is, like those kind of things seem to crop up. And also like communication with all your suppliers to do that, like a few weeks before and just like check in, because it's just awful if you're suddenly thinking, oh, I haven't actually spoken to that person and I don't actually know, like, are they arriving at this time, or like, you know. So all those kind of little emails and communications that need to happen, I would say a couple of weeks before the wedding. What is the most important thing to remember on the day? I think the most important thing is just to remember that it is just about the two of you. It is a celebration of your relationship. It is a celebration of you becoming husband and wife. Nothing else matters. It is just you and that person. And I think you really feel that during the ceremony. Like, I was not really looking forward to the ceremony because I thought it would be really scary and everyone's watching you, but when you're facing each other, it does just feel like you two. And I think it's so important to make sure you do spend time together on the day, which sounds really stupid, but you know, you have all your photos as a two, but then I think it's easy to get swept away and kind of be with your friends and whatever. But we made a conscious effort to go round together during the dinner. I think I went round and said hi to everyone separately, but we went round as a two and like looked at all the decorations and just walked around and, you know, spent time together. We had some really intimate moments like that first dance, and yeah, we made a real effort to like properly dance together on the dance floor and all the things that I think you might not do if you just get swept up in the party. So yeah, remember that it's just about you and your partner. How did you spend the morning of your wedding? So the wedding morning, I was in a really beautiful cottage with my parents, my bridesmaids and their boyfriends, and my sister is my maid of honor, and her husband and their baby. So there were quite a few of us, but it was so lovely because we all had dinner together the night before. And then on the morning, everything starts really early. Like hair and makeup were over from 9, and then obviously our photographer and videographer came over. And yeah, it all just started kicking off. So we basically just got ready the whole morning. The bridesmaids tend to get ready first. I was just chilling mainly, just chatting to everyone, opening Sam's card, which was really emotional, giving my bridesmaids and family like little cards and gifts and stuff. So yeah, it felt really special. I had so many like special emotional moments with my bridesmaids. And yeah, then you just get ready. It feels really slow and chill and in control, and then suddenly it's time to go and everything's manic and you're forgetting things, and I haven't packed my bag, and it's so nice because like when the flowers were delivered and stuff, it's just such an exciting, special morning. Okay, next one. What should I not spend my time worrying about? I feel like I'd love to answer this really constructively, but at the end of the day, if you're a worrier, you're gonna worry, and it's not gonna help by me saying don't stress about that, don't worry about that, because it can be reassuring, but at the same time you kind of have to go through that to then have the best day and then be like, oh, why did I worry about that? It's just part, it's like saying, oh, don't be nervous for that job interview. Like, you're still going to be nervous. But I would probably say, don't worry about what people will think of your dress. I know that that was a big thing when I was choosing mine. I thought, oh, what if people are really disappointed? They think it's really boring. They think it's not me. They expected something else. Like, I really don't think anyone goes through that thought process ever. I mean, maybe a couple of people said to each other like, oh, I really thought she'd go for this, or oh, it's not how I imagine, I don't know. But most of the time, people are gonna love it. You're in a white dress, so you're always going to look incredible. It's always going to be magical when you walk down the aisle, so I honestly wouldn't worry about that at all, and I definitely did. How do you keep track of all the little decorating bits? So I kind of planned in my head what I wanted. I had Pinterest boards for each individual thing, like welcome sign, centerpieces, like extra decoration, you know, like all that stuff. I've made that all live, so you can go check that out. And then when I started buying stuff, I then started to like lay it out exactly how I would want it. So for example, there's a table on the right when you first come through the doors, and that's where we wanted our order of the day sign, basket for cards, and like photos and stuff. So I kind of laid it out how I wanted, took photos, and that way it's just easy to actually visualize it and see kind of what you had. And then we also have a spreadsheet where we wrote everything as well. So yeah, organization keeps track of everything. Did you have any wedding doubts in the lead up? Ooh, interesting question. I don't know if this means about like the wedding itself and marriage. No, I didn't have that at all. Like Sam and I have been together for 12 years, and like it couldn't be any more right. So if that's what that means, then I actually didn't. So but I'm sure it is normal to be a bit like, I mean, we both said like it's a big deal, like, you know, and I guess sometimes you're a bit like, oh my gosh, like it does seem quite scary and surreal, I would say. But actual doubts, no, I didn't have any. What do you feel guests care about where money should be spent? Ooh, I haven't actually like properly spoken to our guests in detail about this, but they all absolutely like loved the food, and I think they liked the wine and stuff as well. So I think being well fed and watered or alcoholed is very important. So people were saying they felt like the Prosecco at the reception was quite free flowing, so I think it was meant to be 2 glasses each, but they felt like they were constantly being topped up, and there was plenty of wine to go around at dinner, and everyone loved the food. We had canapes during the reception, and then a 3-course meal, and then there was evening, we had the cake, and also like cheese and meats and crackers and chutneys and stuff, and like everyone raved about the food and said it was amazing. So I think like because they pay a lot to be there, because they're staying overnight in a hotel and they've traveled and they've, you know, come to your hen party or whatever it is, I think it's important to just make sure you've put a lot of effort into what they're eating and drinking, because that's like one of the main enjoyments. And then other things, I think a good DJ is really important, because that's what you do most of the night, is dance and like celebrate, and everyone had such an amazing time. The dance floor was never empty, it was absolutely rammed, and the DJ we had went above and beyond with like different lighting setups, and we got to like handpick loads of the songs, and he was just brilliant. So I think that good evening entertainment, we want to call it, is important, which is just a good DJ basically. Ours is called DJ I Am Will, and we met up with him beforehand to like discuss everything, and he was amazing the whole process. And he even took like loads of photos on his camera and put them on his Facebook, so there's like extra pictures of people dancing and stuff. So yeah, he was amazing. But we didn't do any extra entertainment per se, and we didn't actually do wedding favors either, which I hope people didn't like feel hard done by, but most of the time people say like they just throw them away or they're a bit tat or whatever, so we didn't do that. But yeah, I think food, drink, good DJ, yeah, and everyone will hopefully be happy, and you know, everyone there should just be excited to see you and celebrate you. So yeah, and the best things are free, right? So like the speeches and the love in the room, like you don't need to pay for that. So yes, just do the basics really good. It's getting hot, I'm hungry, I need more water. We can do this. Were there any guests who didn't give a wedding present? I had a few at mine, and it's left me feeling really disappointed. Yes, there were a few people who didn't, but I guess, you know, people do spend a lot of money to come to your wedding, and it's not really about the gifts. I just think that from a bride and groom's perspective, the people who don't really stand out, and I think even just getting, I don't know, a candle or a bottle of something just goes a really long way. We actually made a honeymoon gift list on our wedding website, where people could contribute literally anything from like £10 to whatever, just so like we could have a drink on them or whatever. You know, weddings aren't about gifts, but I do think that you should never go empty-handed, and I think it's just really, really appreciated, just showing any level of thought, whether it's, you know, 20 quid or whether it's a physical gift or whatever. But yeah, no, we got loads of amazing thoughtful presents and contributions, and yeah, on the whole it was really good, but I do understand that feeling of disappointment. I get ya. One piece of advice you'd give to a future bride. So most people would say don't stress about the little things. I'm not going to say that because I think it's necessary to stress about the little things. One piece of advice I'd give to a future bride. This is a really ridiculous one, but wear a veil. I just feel like there was something so special about having a veil, and I ummed and ahed about it a bit, but then I was like, oh, I'm never gonna get to wear one again, so I'll just get one. And then at the time I was like, oh, well, I'll have it out for most of the photos and then put it back in for the ceremony and then take it out again. And then in the end, like, it was just there from start to like, I think until we started dancing, and I loved it. The photos look so special. It made me feel like a princess, and yeah, from like a physical appearance point of view, I just think you cannot go wrong, and it's like something really simple. Yes, that would be my piece of advice. I feel like I should say something like really sentimental and motivating. Well, okay, don't put pressure on yourself to enjoy every moment of the day. And this is something I did because I was in a bit of a funny place with my emotions and mood and mental health and general sanity. I kind of thought, you know, everyone says it's the best day ever. Everyone's like, my wedding was the best day of my life, blah, blah, blah. And so I thought, it's okay if it's not the best day of my life. Like, it's okay if I have moments where I have a bit of a dip, or I'm tired, or, you know, I'm not enjoying something, or something didn't go quite right. Like, I just kind of took that pressure off and almost give myself up for it not to be the best day of my life, which I know sounds really stupid, but I didn't want to be like, oh, and then be really disappointed. And I don't know if it was because I did that or what it was, but it was the best day of my life. It was easily incredible from start to finish. Nothing else matters. It was amazing. And I can't help but think that it might have been because I wasn't expecting it to be. So yeah, I know that's a bit of kind of weird advice, but maybe just like take the pressure off yourself. Like, no matter how you look or what happens or how you're feeling in the morning, like, you're going to have an amazing day. So yeah, just keep that in mind. Okay, one more wedding question. How is it post-wedding? Do you miss it? How do you deal with wedding blues? So this is a good question. I actually haven't really had wedding blues. Like, obviously I look back and I'm like, oh my God, it's amazing. I wish we could do it again. Like, my bridesmaids keep saying like, can we just do it again? And I guess there's periods of time where you're like a bit sad, but I don't think I've really been down about it. I think because we had our honeymoon quite soon after, and then I've just been really excited to like see the photos and stuff. So I don't know if I'm gonna get like a massive wedding blues like later on this year. But honestly, I've been fine. I think just remembering all the amazing times, like looking at photos, looking at photos and videos, just to remember it for what it was rather than getting down about the fact that it's gone, you know? Because you do get to just like have those memories forever, and I'm sure everyone had the most amazing time. We also have some exciting stuff happening this year, which I can't wait to share. So I think that helps to not feel really low after your wedding, because obviously it's something you work towards and are really excited about. And then if you have nothing else to be excited about after that, then I can totally see. But if you've got like a trip coming up, or you're planning to move, or I don't know, whatever it might be, yeah, that really helps. So maybe plan another trip or something. Okay, that's the wedding questions. I did have 2 questions that were kind of relationship related, so I will answer them super quickly. And they are, how did you meet? Sam and I met on MySpace. We got together when I was 14 and he was 16. Just like, you know, boyfriend and girlfriend, met at each other's houses, like went to the park, all that kind of stuff. We spoke for ages online before we met, and when I met Sam in person, I went with a friend because I'm safe. And the other one was, how long did you go to Sri Lanka for? And that's an easy question. We went for 2 weeks, really got it wrong then. And you can watch all of our honeymoon vlogs. I will link them below. We made it, I did it. I really hope that there was some interesting things in there that might help you if you're planning a wedding, or that you can relate to if you've had a wedding, or just if you're nosy and like this kind of video, then hopefully it was fun to watch. I cannot wait to post our wedding video. I'm so excited. So make sure you are subscribed so you don't miss that, and also turn your notifications on. I think you have to click a little bell. Do that too. Leave me a comment if you want to discuss anything wedding related. Follow me on social media. It is at Lottie Rainbow on Instagram. And give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in the next one. My stomach is rumbling. Sam, I'm hungry! If I'm not in focus here, I'm going to lose my shit. Goodbye!